Welcome to another episode of Ruff Talk VR, a weekly podcast with in-depth game reviews, exclusive developer interviews, and the latest Oculus Quest news. We join our hosts Dscruffles and Stratus2k1 today as they spend another episode breaking down and discussing the Oculus Quest virtual reality world.
Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Ruff Talk VR. We're joined here today with Jeff Bull Jr. Jeff, I'll give you the opportunity to, tell our listeners a little bit more who you are. I believe you'll do a little bit better job than me on that one.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. My name is Jeff Bull Jr. and I am a VR developer. I work on Blackbox VR, virtual reality gyms, and I work for Don't Look Digital, creating experimental horror experiences for VR.
Awesome. And it looks like you just had a new project drop pretty recently, right?
Yes, we did. Yeah. It's called Don't Upset Bobby. It's this is for Don't Look Digital. It's a small studio over here in Boise, Idaho, consisting of myself, a programmer and tech artist, with a 3D modeler, and we have an awesome sound guy out of the UK. And back in 2019, we created it's like an experimental experimental horror game. We kind of called it horror Jenga. We built it out over a couple months in some free time in 2019, and then kind of forgot about it over the past couple of years just with everything going on. And then we decided to kind of bring it back up, put a little bit of polish on it, and put it out there because it's a fun little project, and we were curious to see how people reacted to it.
And it is available on App Lab, correct?
That is correct. Yeah, it just released on App Lab last week, and it's free. So it's probably 5 to 10 minute game where you can, depending on how good you are, you could probably beat it in 5 or 10 minutes, maybe longer.
Probably taking me 25, 30.
Yeah. But yeah, it's out in App Lab. You can either search for it as Don't Upset Bobby, or you can head over to either my Twitter or the Don't Look Digital Twitter or website, or just look it up and we'll point you straight to it.
Yeah, we always try to tell people whenever it's an App Lab game, you got to be so specific in how to find it if you're not using, just searching through Google with App Lab. But the typing is unforgiving.
Totally.
What was was it easy for you to get your game on App Lab? Because we've heard varying stories of degrees of difficulty in getting games published or getting them onto the site.
We actually didn't really have a problem. I was lucky enough, since App Lab has been around long enough, that I was able to kind of pick up some of the, learnings from other developers putting their applications through App Lab. I've also had experience publishing applications on various other digital stores as well that have their own handful of requirements. So it is something I'm familiar with, and made sure that our game had, passed all the checks that they required. But yeah, luckily for us, we didn't have any issues. We just shot it out there. It did take a handful of weeks for them to get it through their review queue. But yeah, they sent an email last week, on Monday or Sunday or Monday or something like that, and said, yeah, it's available. And we're like, oh, sweet. So we went to the socials and started posting about it. But yeah, no big issues for us.
No, that's good. We've heard some difficulties with some people trying to get their games on there. And,
sure.
I guess they were saying it used to be easier, and now it's become a little more difficult.
Well, and also something that we heard from another developer at a time. He told us that it's, even though it might be a little bit easier getting on App Lab, the official process to get onto the actual store isn't the most clear. Have they given you any outline on that of hey, if you want to get on the official store, you got to do X, Y, and Z, or is that not even something you're interested in because it's kind of like a 10-minute game?
Yeah. It is something that we're not pushing for. We haven't gotten any messaging or contact from them about getting it out on the official store, and it's not something we're necessarily pushing for. I kind of figure, yeah, if people, if we get a reaction that seems big enough to warrant maybe fleshing it out more, then I think official store is something we would target. But I have heard, that official store release definitely is more involved for sure.
And what made you guys go the free route? I mean, granted, you say it's 10 minutes, or you could maybe whiz through it even quicker, but why free? I'm always curious with the price points or the lack of, just like what the mindset was, because obviously you invested your time, and other people, we're talking 4 people, spent their time.
I believe 3, right? 3 people?
For this project, it was, 3. Mm-hmm.
Sweet. Which is another thing we found out. I always thought every game that was developed was, this huge studio with hundreds of people and the massage tables and foosball tables. I'm quickly finding out that so many of the developers, they're really small groups. But I digress. So to the price point, I mean, what was the decision making behind, let's just give this away?
Yeah, for the price point for Don't Upset Bobby, we just decided for free because, in all honesty, we're working on some other projects right now that we're quite excited about that will probably warrant a different kind of pricing and different kind of marketing push and different kind of like release effort. And since Don't Upset Bobby was more of like, it was like 90% finished probably in 2019 when we kind of like left it alone. And then, so when we kind of pulled it back out from the dead or whatever, it wasn't like a ton of effort that had to be put back into it. Just a couple of things to get it up and running for Quest and Quest 2. But it was just small enough, and we didn't want to have to worry about, are we like giving people value for such a small experience? If anything, we just wanted to get something out there to, since we're a small studio, just to experience more of how, what does a game release on App Lab look like? How do we market something on App Lab as an unknown studio? What kind of correspondence can we have with Oculus? What's the path to the store, like the official store, and all things like that. So if anything, this is like a big experiment just for us as a studio, and just for, I guess, other people just to try it out. We think it's like a neat little fun thing. So it was just kind of a big old, let's just see what happens with it. And then hopefully we can use the findings from releasing this to help inform us on the current projects we're creating. And then, the other chance of, if people like this project enough, do we divert resources to expanding it out and making a larger, probably more full scale release on it. So kind of a lot of it was just kind of, we don't feel like it's worth putting a price point on it with its current scope. And then we also just kind of wanted to experience getting it out there and get all the learnings that we can from it.
No, that's actually
an honest answer. Yeah, that's fantastic.
That's smart. That's something that we have talked about before, that like, hey, that would be a smart move if a developer did this to get experience and kind of get their name out, and then come out with a bigger project.
Come out with the big guns afterwards.
It sounds like that's exactly what you're doing. So
yep.
So perfect.
I mean, the game it's got what, 4.5 stars now. Not a lot of actual written reviews.
It's got
still
5 ratings right now, with, I believe, of those 5 ratings, 4 of them are written reviews. So that's a pretty good ratio of people rating it and actually leaving a written review too. But only, a lot of these App Lab games, you never really see them with more than
a handful, but
15,
still.
30,
right.
Unless it's like Crisis Brigade or something like that.
No,
Right.
it does look, I mean, we checked it out. It does look like a fun game. I mean, we're 100% going to play it. I know he's going to play it.
Yeah, on this show, we kind of have like a series of episodes where one, we interview developers such as yourself. Another one where we, review official Oculus Store games, and another series of episodes that are all about App Lab games. So I think this is a perfect candidate to fit that third
Fits
one there.
the bill for an App Lab review for sure.
Yeah, I would love to hear what you all think about it. There was a handful of learnings that we had to do with it, and it's interesting seeing some of the feature requests that we've gotten already for it. Like, a lot of people are wanting snap turning, which I hadn't thought about it being like a big deal, because I guess, like, to put some background on the game, it's all like it's a room scale game, so it's similar to how Job Simulator works, where based on your play space size, it'll size out the environment to hopefully fit that. And so there's no like snap turning, there's no teleporting or anything, because I wanted it to be as immersive as possible and like lower, or I guess increase the comfort for people being in it. But we've gotten a handful, actually quite a few people requesting snap turning anyways, which is really interesting. I'd be curious to like hear, how often do you guys use snap turning, and does it depend on if you're in a quest game or like a wired, if you're tethered to something?
I'm a smooth turning guy.
Yeah.
Okay.
I always, if I've got the option for smooth and it's defaulted to snap, I go right to the smooth.
That's my opinion.
Do you feel like that's a requirement for VR games?
It's a nice bonus. I would hate to say requirement for anything, because I'm like couch quarterbacking anybody's hard work and passions at that point. But I love the options. I mean, I get why some people like the snap. Some people like teleport, which I absolutely my least favorite. I like the smooth because it feels more real to me, but I also get that some people get a little motion sickness, can't handle the movements.
And I do think that there should always be some sort of option to artificially move besides moving only your body, such as using the analog stick.
Yeah,
I think it adds, in a weird way, it adds immersion. Sometimes I think if people are spinning in a circle too much with the headset on, it like triggers motion sickness.
Or for people who I always say, like a lot of games, people like to play sitting down in chairs, just
so
they're not able-bodied necessarily to stand up all the time.
That is true. That's something that we're trying to be cognizant of in our current projects that we're working on, is to make sure we kind of have those accessibility features in there. And that's the one thing I was wondering with like Don't Upset Bobby, which is one of the reasons why I'm glad we released it how we did and getting some of these learnings, because I was like, obviously accessibility is important. This game was so small in scope that we're just going to release it and kind of gain some learnings from it, like I've been saying. But yeah, it is true that like I think more people than I think we realize do play these VR games sitting down, or if they're not able-bodied like other people, that it can be pretty difficult to even just play games in VR at all. And so having some of those features, I think, are pretty important. Which is,
I won't lie. Sometimes if I get out of work at 9 p.m., I'm playing at 10 p.m. for an hour before bed. After working, a long day, I don't always want to stand up and play.
Totally.
If that sounds dumb, but like it's like, sit down,
The option's good. And I've become a believer with VR that the more people that can get to experience it, regardless of their own, physical abilities, the better for everybody.
Totally.
I hate seeing that. There are some games where there's people who they'll never be able to play it because it's just not going to work for them. But to have that ability or option, I mean, that's always huge.
Totally. Yeah, I agree.
So are you able to talk at all about what some of these other projects you're working on are? Or is that a little
hush hush?
Oh, no. Yeah, definitely we can talk about them. Luckily, since we're just a small studio right now, we don't have any like obligations with any like publishers or anything. But like maybe that'll change one day. But right now we're working on this. The one that we're working on right now that I'm pretty excited about is we're working on it's going to be like I don't know how else to explain it except for a VR, I guess, music video, but it's going to be it's not like a typical music video. It's like it's a VR experience that's going to be about 5 minutes long, potentially longer. That's going to, I guess, you're going to experience a story. So it's going to be potentially like a linear experience of you experiencing a story that's happening to you, accompanied by, I guess, a musical score. That will we're trying to go for full like fat immersion. And I know that like that's just like a super vague term, but I guess currently the current pitch of this project is you're on the moon and you're going to suffocate and die in space. And so we're taking some elements of those pieces as well as some potentially supernatural sci-fi themes and combining it with some pretty intense like audio immersion. And this is like a lot of vague wording right now, but this is like kind of the project we're working on. We're hoping to get it out here in the next couple months. We're getting pretty close, and I'm getting pretty happy with how it's looking and how it's feeling right now. But I think our current goal right now, if we can pull this off correctly, we're hoping that people like take off their headsets like they saw a ghost, which some of our preliminary, I guess, demos of this experience have shown that people do walk away from it like that. And so we're hoping to see, like, is that just anecdotal, or is this going to affect people in a larger scale like that as well? And so it's kind of our goal right now, is kind of like, once again, another marketing maybe piece that we put out there, try to turn some heads, get some more exposure on Don't Look Digital as a whole, and just kind of feeling out the waters. Like, what do people want from VR? And so, like, I think that's where the medium, while it is growing and growing and growing every day, there's still a lot of stuff that's undiscovered, different kinds of play styles that haven't been tried yet. And so we're just kind of in that realm, trying to see, like, what can we make in VR that is entirely unique to VR? Like, if it can be made outside of VR, then, like, I guess, I don't know. We're just trying to do that thing where we're trying to make something as immersive as possible, I guess.
So you're going for the gusto with it then.
We're going for the what?
You're going for a home run with it then.
I think we're trying.
It sounds like you guys are trying to do stuff that come together is going to be a full onslaught experience unlike nothing anyone's had in VR yet. Correct?
That's the hope. That is the hope. At least I haven't experienced it or experienced something like it yet. I've experienced some things that are close. Like, I've experienced a few like music videos and a couple different like cool trippy visual experiences. But we are hoping that this taps into something a little greater, that maybe makes you feel like you're actually, you're not witnessing this experience, you're in it.
This is good. Yeah. This excites me.
I'm always so shocked about the things in VR that, like, I end up loving the most. Like, I went into VR for gaming, and like, I feel like a lot of the people, a lot of other people did the same thing. And they're kind of skeptical to try these other things like film experiences and things like that. Like, we watched Madrid Noir, which is a film on the Quest store, and it brought tears to our eyes. And like, now I'm like, oh my goodness, there's more than just games in VR. And it's like, I think, stuff like this that are kind of cutting edge, it's going to not only bring new people to VR, but it's going to surprise a lot of people who didn't think that that's what they were looking for. If people open their eyes and give it a shot,
Totally. That's kind of what we're going for. I mean, and that's the other thing too. Like, we're a small studio. We're like really small. And so like, we can't compete with, the likes of creating like a Population 1 or an Onward or a,
not owned by Facebook yet.
Yeah, totally. Like, we can't compete on that level. So like, what is something we can do as a small team that can really give a good punch for, what we have to offer? And so we're going to try. We'll see, who knows? Maybe it'll come out and it'll be like, just, it, maybe it'll be really awesome. Maybe it won't, but that's okay. That's kind of what we're just having fun experimenting right now with the studio. We all, with our current day jobs, we're all working on other various things too. So with Don't Look Digital, it's definitely more of a, let's just make what we think is cool. And then hopefully other people think it's cool too. But if not, at least we think it's cool. So that's kind of what we're going for. And I think there's definitely some untapped potential in VR as when it comes to like games that are not shooting and like not like, I guess, like, I don't know, all the other like rhythm games and stuff. Well, I love those games for sure. There's definitely still a bit of a there's definitely undiscovered space there, and so we're trying to dive in and see what we can find.
Again, I'm shocked by what I love in VR. like
Totally.
weird things.
I'm
like
loving everything in VR.
Yeah, like casual sports games, board games, anything.
Board games, I think, is an untapped market.
I think that's the future.
100%.
Demio showed that.
Yep.
It's like even Monopoly in VR, or like even simple card games, even
Dude,
anything.
Remember the game Life when you grew up? That game, I mean,
Life in VR would be with like visual animations on the
yeah, I agree. It's definitely a virgin market, and it's got nowhere to go. I mean, to me, the more mainstream, the better. Just get the people with the headsets, get them on, and it's more people.
Yeah.
I wish everybody could experience it, and then once you try it once, there's no way you're not sold on. It's a different life. It's legit done properly, and you're immersed into whatever you're doing. It's mind-boggling to me.
Yeah, I'm definitely in love with the medium. It's probably, I don't know, potential. I don't know what would be unhealthy, like an unhealthy degree of obsession, but it's definitely like super fun. Just experimenting and trying out as many games as possible. And it is right, like the games that I've never been a big puzzle game person, but in VR I love puzzle games. Like I played through all of like Red Matter, and I'm working on The Room right now, and various games like that. And yeah, it's true. Like it's just so different in there. Just soaking in the world and interacting with objects. Like you can just lose yourself for tons of time, and you can experience and enjoy games that you wouldn't have otherwise, I feel like, experienced or enjoyed on flat screen or whatever else it might be.
No, that exactly 100%. If you're enjoying puzzle games too, highly recommend Rodent People Origins. That's even like you can do it single player or co-op. It's like
a small studio.
That's a small studio too. It's like a one-person dude on App Lab. It's a one level escape room. That's like it took us a couple hours of gameplay to beat.
If you don't cheat and try to Google anything, it's actually a pretty good experience.
And it's co-op, so you can play it with a friend too. That's one I highly recommend as well if you're enjoying the whole that genre right now. Clearly, as you put out a puzzle game,
definitely a tricky game too.
Yeah, what is it? What is it called again? I was just going to note it down.
Rodent People Origins.
Rodent.
You play as like
Origins.
a mouse, like a humanoid mouse.
Yep.
Sweet. I'm excited to try it.
I guess
out.
a rodent.
Fun.
No, it's a good for an escape room. It was something that like obviously we've never seen this before in VR, like done this way. So I'd recommend it. It's fun.
I'll check it out.
Shouldn't take more than 20 minutes, 30 minutes if you're on your A game.
Yeah, if you're like us, it'll take a couple hours.
The developer has an actual VR studio in Lithuania where people can go, and I think they book an hour time. You can go as a group, and he's got it all set up in there, and then a virtual escape room.
Yeah, but I love what you guys are doing too with testing the market and stuff. That's genius. That this is the time to do it while it's kind of virgin. All right, throw out a little 10-minute tech demo of this genre, 10-minute tech demo of this genre, and then like kind of what gains momentum is the one that sticks. That's a genius idea.
Totally. Yeah, that's what we're trying to do. It's a little easier to do too as a small studio, with a small number of people, just trying to keep the scope small. I'm putting out these small little experiences. Yeah, see what sticks, because as a small studio and we're totally self-funded, it's kind of hard to. I mean, we could go dive in and start developing something, and spend the next 2 years on it. But I don't even know what the next 2 years in VR is gonna, bring as far as trends or
Quest 4.
Yeah, Quest 4, like, is like the new Valve standalone is it gonna exist or not? Like things like that. Like I just don't even know. Like what games will be popular? Will Beat Saber still be the top seller or whatever, or will it be somebody else? Things like that. And so
I think Beat Saber will be like Space Invaders was to the old Atari 2600.
Totally.
It'll be like, oh, remember that game? How cute that was.
I wish I loved rhythm games the way so many
fun,
people
man.
do. I get good entertainment out of it, but for some people, that's like their biggest time sink. It seems. I wish I got different strokes.
You're moving muscles.
Yeah. Oh, hey, it's a good fitness one too.
It is true. I definitely used Beat Saber a lot during during quarantine. Just trying to use that for my cardio. It's a good time. It is true. But yeah, there are definitely a lot of rhythm games out there. I don't know if people are getting tired of them yet. They seem like they're doing pretty well, but I wonder if that'll change or not.
I mean, I've seen the drum one that's similar to Beat Saber, but it's drums, and then there's like a space one. Yeah, I agree. I mean, eventually any market will get saturated, but it'll always probably be, remember Beat Saber. So hey, speaking of working out, yes. I know you've got a project that involves exercise, correct?
Yeah. So the other thing that I'm working on,
as if you're already not working on enough. This is a big one.
Right.
This is actually a really big one.
Yeah, this one is with Blackbox VR, and we are creating virtual reality resistance training gyms. And I guess like the pitch for this is we have a robotic cable resistance machine that provides around 240 pounds of resistance. And we're working on ones that have higher resistance as well at the moment. But we combine this machine with a full-fledged MOBA, I guess you can use all the buzzwords like MOBA RPG style VR game and we combine these two things together to create like a competitive landscape and cooperative landscape for, I guess, virtual reality fitness. And so you come in and to one of our locations, you strap on the headset, and for 30 minutes you are in, you're doing a workout, and you're doing chest press, and you're doing squats, and you're doing deadlifts. And I guess the gameplay is it's you versus another opponent. And you are, as you work out, you're leveling up. You're leveling yourself. You're leveling up your different attacks. You have different champions you can deploy. And for example, like when you do a chest press, you shoot like a fiery laser out of your chest at your enemy. And you're deploying these, it's almost like a tug of war where you're deploying these champions against each other. And you are doing workouts to destroy each other's champions and structures. And so we have, I think currently we have 8 different exercises right now. We have a deadlift, chest press, squat, overhead press, lat pull down, bicep curl, and a tricep push down. And so you're using a combination of all of these exercises to actually do attacks in the game versus your opponent. And when you're consistently doing these, booking these sessions and coming in and working out, just as you would any other gym, you're leveling up your character. You have like teams you can be on with your friends. You can, with like a whole like social aspect of the game where you can be like chatting with your friends or seeing each other's progress. And we have all of the data tracking you would expect from a virtual digital fitness experience that we then use to progress you in the game by increasing or decreasing your weights based on your progress. So we have a full-blown AI that handles all of that. So you don't have to change your weights manually ever. It all just auto detects what you can do and what you need to do to gain like that progressive overload to, I guess, increase your strength. And so as you're playing through this game, as you're coming back, through the weeks, we raise your, we raise your weight and we raise the intensity and we change the intensity curve for you while you're playing to try to get you the best fitness experience possible.
No, that's genius, because I think one of the hardest things that people have in exercising is like, oh, what's the amount that I do that's appropriate? They either feel like they're not doing enough or they're doing too much that they're going to get injured. And this is all resistance bands, not like free weights, which vastly, in my opinion, lowers the chance of injury or anything. So that's genius. It's like constantly adjust based off of the progress. That's awesome.
That was going to be my question too. If it will acknowledge if the same person comes weekly that, hey, this person's obviously becoming stronger and
live
better.
Adjust. That's and not live adjust and saves the info for next time.
And if I'm correct, when you go to one of these gyms, each person has a 100 square foot room that's theirs. That's their workout room
for that time.
Yeah, they have. We have these. Everyone has their own private booth when they come into these gyms. They're about probably about 10, depending on the location you go to. They're like 10 to 15 squared feet rooms that you're in. That has your own machine and your own headset, and it's totally privatized as you're in there. And so we have a companion app that you download for your phone, and that stores, like, you can look through and see all of your data, all of your progress. You can see how much weight you've been lifting, your caloric burn and all of that stuff. There's tons and tons and tons of graphs and data. So if you guys are big fans of that, you'll love this app. But you go in there and then you book your workout appointment. So you just say, like, hey, I want to work out, tomorrow at 9 a.m. before work or whatever. You just book a time and it reserves a slot for you. And then you walk in. You don't have to talk to anyone. You just walk in, walk into your room and do your workout and then leave. It's all handled inside of the app. So it's definitely an introvert stream in that sense.
No, that's perfect for, like, I was saying it to Stratus before. It's like for somebody who's always been like a little antisocial, or like hesitant to work out, but like addicted to gaming. This is the perfect excuse to gamifying.
I like the motivation. There's a reason to. I enjoy working out, but if I'm not motivated, I'm not working out.
And I like gamified progress. Correct. I like RPGs too. And so upgrades. It's like, this is right up my alley.
Oh, totally. And that's the one. So, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, no, I didn't mean to cut you out. I was curious, and you don't have to divulge prices because I'm sure it might vary per location, but is the price comparable to current gym memberships, or is this more of an exclusive?
Like a CrossFit membership or something like that?
Correct.
Yeah, so it does depend on your location. So we have a combination of different locations where some of our locations are purely, this is a Blackbox VR fitness gym, like a training facility. And we have different pricing for that compared to, we've partnered with a gym chain called EOS over on the West Coast, and we've slotted in like we have a handful of booths in each of their gyms over here on the West Coast that piggyback off of their gym membership. And so depending on, I guess, like with their gym membership, it kind of depends on, like, you can tack on like the black box, package, or if you upgrade to a certain membership tier for them, then you have access to the black box facilities. But we do have a range of, I guess, pricing for different people. And it kind of depends on like how many times you want to come to the gym weekly. Like if you're only going to come like once, it definitely is a lower price. And if you want to come, like 4 or 5 times, 6 times, 7 times a week, then we have like an unlimited subscription. But the pricing currently ranges from, if you're going to one of our locations, our pricing ranges, if I remember correctly, somewhere around $40 to $100-ish, give or take, depending on like what tier you want to subscribe for. And then for the EOS locations, I do not remember how the pricing works.
Is that monthly or per session?
Monthly.
Mm-hmm. Oh, how many sessions do you get in a month?
Well, they have the unlimited.
Yeah, that's true. I guess it depends.
Yeah. I don't exactly remember.
That's actually pretty affordable. That's a little less than I was imagining, to be honest with you.
Yeah, we're definitely still kind of, I know we are like, we're trying to feel out how the pricing works for different people. So that's what we kind of have like a spread right now. But we do want to try to be competitive with other gym chains for sure, and making sure that you get value for your money. One of the things that I think we like one of the things we have that I don't think a lot of people realize is that we essentially have a personal trainer with you every single time you work out.
With the AI, right?
With the AI, like it's handling, like your weight, and yeah. So sorry, I'm a little jumbled right now, but like, yeah, we essentially have like a personal trainer with you in your sessions. We have an AI that's like talking to you throughout your sessions. It's adjusting your weight. It's adjusting some of the intensity curves for your workout. It's able to deliver those metrics for you, so you know where you might need to improve or things like that. And I think that's something that's highly valuable in our experience, even if you take away all of the other technical advantages that we may have over like a traditional gym, is since it's all digital and we can track your basically every movement, we can really dial in like your form, I guess like your frequency when you're doing your reps. We can like tell if you're going slow or if you're going fast. We can tell if you're, kind of cheesing the reps or if you're in a bad formation, we will literally yell at you. Well, not yell at you. The AI will very kindly tell you that you need to change your form and get into a better, formation, or else you're going to hurt yourself. As they always try to tell you when you're working out, you got to make sure your form is good so you don't hurt something. So we have all of that stuff. Yeah.
We were watching a video of the gym that you're talking about, and I was talking to Dscruffles. I go, man, I absolutely love this idea, but my only concern if I were to have one is, what does it do if you have bad form? Because to me that's so important. So you nailed it. I mean, whatever I thought might have been the only criticism I'd have with working out like that went away when you said that it actually will.
Yeah, he was like, what happens if you're cheating and not doing full extension?
Right.
Well, I guess the AI will tell you.
We'll let you know. We'll let you know.
So you mentioned you can like join with friends on teams and stuff like that. Can you play at the same time, obviously in separate booths, but like, can you work actually on a team in the same battle, or is it like just tracking your progress together comparatively?
At the moment you cannot, but that is something we're actively working on. That's kind of
I would join. I mean, we're in the East Coast. It's only on the West Coast. Man, if me and Stratus here could join and like try to be the best team in the country,
we'd be jacked.
We'd be there every day.
Totally. Yeah, that's one of the things we're super excited about. It's kind of our next push right now is we're trying to make the experience more social, because VR can be a little, without those social features, can be a little antisocial, which some people like. And so we are keeping, if you don't want to be social at all, you can totally do that. But we're adding these features right now that allow you to like join as like a team, or I guess, other games will call them clans or guilds. We'll have different features like that. We're building seasons right now for the game. So our first season should fire off sometime this year. And so we're going to try to we're trying that model out too, where we're going to have different various, consistent seasons that you can gain loot from and experience from, and you and your team can try to be the best team for that season or the best team overall in different categories as well. And we are working on a multiplayer feature where you can go in and play cooperatively versus, whatever, I guess, like enemies you're going against. And we're also working on a feature right now to have competitive multiplayer where it's you versus someone else. So those are all the things that we're working on at the moment, which I'm super excited about.
Oh, that's going to be a great esport. So like, I'm jealous here. Like I said, we're in the East Coast. It seems like mainly West Coast. I saw like Idaho, some California, some Arizona. What's the expansion plans? Are you going like the Chick-fil-A route, keeping it exclusive, or are you trying to go McDonald's? Two in every town.
Franchise. That's the route.
What's the plans for expansion? Nice and slow, or are you kind of trying to get more in the East Coast, Middle America?
I do know right now we're going a little slower just so we can we're kind of doing the thing where we're increasing our locations, but through that we're ironing out, various things that we're seeing as we're expanding out more and more. And so I think right now we've gone a little slower just so we can fine tune the system and make sure it's working good for everyone. And then as far as like the expansion plan after that, I do know we're trying to get Blackbox into as many people's areas as possible. As far as the plan, I don't know actually. This is where I just go, oh, I'm just the programmer on the game. Some other people above me are making all those decisions, but I do know that we're trying to get it to as many people as possible for sure.
The response to it, how's it been?
It's been good. People who we have some pretty hardcore members for sure. Like people who get into it, they get really, really into it. And like I was actually one of those people before I joined the company. A handful of years ago with one of their first locations, I started going and I got obsessed. To the point where I was like, let me work on this thing because this is awesome. I want to add, there's like this weird bug. There's like a really minor little visual like bug that I was like noticing, and it hadn't been fixed because it was just so minor. Like who cares about it? But like as soon as I joined, I was like, I need to go fix that because like I want the power to come in here and like work on this thing and bring it to as many people as possible because it is definitely so cool and people have been really enjoying it. You definitely get some people who come in and play it who maybe aren't like, they're just more old school. They prefer their metal weights. They prefer, the gym, the more traditional gym experience and, totally get that. But we're noticing a bigger uptick in like definitely the younger crowd, especially the millennials, the Gen Zers, people like that, people who've kind of grown up with technology as a core pillar in their life. We're seeing some really good response from people like that, especially gamers, especially you guys mentioned like gamers who like, they don't want to go to the traditional gym. Like that has, that fitness model has failed them through whatever reason. And so we're trying to, open up fitness to the people where if fitness hasn't worked for them yet. I think you're seeing that in like VR in general. You're seeing lots of people getting into fitness without even realizing it through like Beat Saber or, Pistol Whip, and then even getting into some of the more fitness centric titles like Supernatural. I think people are really realizing that VR is a really great way to get your body moving.
I think VR is the future for almost even up to and including work trainings. Me and this guy always talk of, well, imagine if a company just sent you a headset with everything you needed to know and you could actually do the job for 40 hours on a headset. It's all recorded. Everyone knows you know how to do the job. Send the headset back, totally. Show up to work on Monday morning, and you know how to do the job. So there's huge. I'm just glad that people are being responsive to this. I'm the type of person that working out is good, but again, it bores me. I'm easily not motivated to work out because I know nothing's going to change. I'm going to go in there. I'm going to do 3 sets of this. I'm going to then work on this. It's going to be the same scenery. I'm going to see the same people in the gym every time I go. Where this at least is an experience. You're getting to do something, you're getting to play something, and the byproduct of that is you having to actually work out to make it all happen.
And see, I'm the opposite. I'm a martial artist. I work at a gym. I work out every day. And even for me, I mean, this is exciting. I wish I had a booth in my home, to be honest with you, in like my basement or something. Go. I'd probably be on 10 hours a day.
Well, the fact that it can set up in that kind of space, I mean, you think sooner or later the homeowner, I mean, granted, probably much more expensive, but I don't see a reason why a homeowner couldn't have something like that in their house.
A home booth? That's a genius.
Home booth? No, you know
definitely.
what?
Yeah.
On the multiplayer aspect, I was wondering if there was any future plans for the different gyms, if they're going to have clans or guilds or different teams, if they could have gym on gym tournaments to see which Blackbox VR gym is taking the crown this year as, the champions in whatever genre or whatever thing they got going.
Oh my God, so much potential. Esport leagues. This is
it's absolutely genius. I would recommend people check out the website though, because it's pretty detailed. You can see it go down.
There's definitely tons of potential, for the gym as we've actually talked about all of that stuff with the multiplayer. Like how cool would it be if it was like the Boise gym versus the San Francisco gym versus the, Phoenix gym or whatever. And then, those are some of the things we're trying to work on. We're trying to help build that community. And what's cool about it, like you were saying, like with the gym, like coming in and it being the same and stuff, because I'm a big gym goer myself. I've always enjoyed working out, and what's fun about Blackbox is, like you get gym updates. It's kind of interesting. Like you can come in week after week, but it's slowly changing. Like we'll add new features, new enemies, new exercises, different rewards you can get, new gear. We change up this. Right now we have 10 different massive arenas that you fight in that you kind of progress through. So even the scenery changes as you're coming back. And we're trying to give you some of those, like, I guess, dopamine hits and those progression hits, because fitness can be a more long-term, process to see change. And so I think through Blackbox, we can show you change right away. And we can even gamify it to the point where, at least your character's leveling up, or your different attacks and, years leveling up in the meantime. And then as long as you're just kind of focused on that and focus on just playing the game, you'll just get stronger in the process. And you don't have to focus so hard on like, oh, is my body changing yet? Like, are my arms bigger yet? Or whatever. You just play the game, and eventually you're going to be like, oh, wait, I'm like lifting way more than I was when I first came in. I also, am looking, more in shape or whatever than when I first came in. And those are the kind of experiences we're trying to create.
I'm calling it right now. You expand to the East Coast. Ruff Talk VR going to be the number one plan in the system.
No, I love the competitive access, but I've also noticed psychologically, like, and I always use the running example. When I was younger and I'd run, if I ran on the road, I would never run far. But if I ran in the woods, where it's just a constantly changing environment and, maybe a little music, it felt like I could run forever. I never felt tired. So I'm wondering if there's some same psychology going on with the VR when you're actually working out. But if you didn't have that other experience going on, you'd never pull it off as well.
That is true. I think one of the things I think that's beneficial about Blackbox VR is it's almost more of like a sport rather than just like another fitness machine or another fitness, like, routine where, when you're playing certain sports, you aren't thinking as much about, am I getting my reps in or whatever, while you're doing the sport, even though like when you're running a lot or you're jumping or you're moving in these different ways, you're getting that physical activity out of it. But your main objective is to, win the game or do whatever you need to do inside of this game. And with Blackbox, it's like one of those things where, you can really push yourself harder and farther just by playing the game and try, I need to take down this guy or whatever, or I need to destroy this like gate or this structure. And so you can definitely be pushing yourself. And I think what is it called? Like time dilation, where it feels like a shorter amount of time than it really is. Like that stuff happens for sure, where you're in the booth and it feels like 10 or 15 minutes, but you've actually been in there for 30 minutes or things like that. It's over before you know it. So there's definitely a lot of benefits there with, I guess, being stimulated by the rest of what's going on.
No, I'm a believer, and that's one of the reasons I think they always showed like movies on airplanes. Just mentally distracts you from the hours you're sitting in a chair, just flying, and then you watch a movie and you're like, oh, we're already there. So I mean, if people can get that psychological benefit and they're getting a real workout, and I mean, I saw the video, it's a legit workout.
It definitely is.
You get better, it gets better. So you're not cheating the system. I think it's phenomenal. I was actually shocked at how many locations are currently out there. I was like, oh, they might have a test location, but no, there's a bunch. So I'm hoping we can taste it.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, I hope so too.
So I know you mentioned that you were a big fan even before you started working there. Actually, what's your progress been like? Were you a fitness fan before? Have you noticed yourself in much better, physical conditioning, muscle tone, cardiovascular? Like, what's been your personal progress using this?
Yeah, I guess like the progress that I've had at Blackbox has been pretty awesome. I've had a bit of a up and down fitness experience, I guess, in the past couple of years. Like I received an injury last year, which kind of definitely ruined a bunch of progress. But like before that, I was gaining quite fast. It was pretty awesome. I was really happy with my growth. Like definitely gaining strength, muscle tone for sure. And I was feeling awesome. It was really good. I've always enjoyed just going to, I guess, the traditional gyms before that. And even still to this day, still, 1 or 2 days a week, I'll hop over there in addition to like my Blackbox workouts. And so that's been really fun. And at Blackbox, it's just so awesome, like seeing the progression. Like when you look inside of your apps, like you'll see like, oh, wow, I definitely gained quite a bit. Like as far as like, all my, I guess, like different exercises have increased in weight for me relatively dramatically, which is pretty fun to see. Like over just being able to like go so consistently, which before I'd always have problems with that. Like I'd go for a few months and then like fall out again, and then go back and then fall out again for whatever excuse it might be. But what's like really interesting is like last year had some injuries in my hands, and which had me stop for a while, and I had to lower a bunch of my weights. So it's a little sad. You look at my app right now and you see like this awesome graph going upwards and then like a steep decline from when I had to lower my weights. But what's really awesome about that is I've been able, through like Blackbox and it like slowly progressing me over time, I've been able to get it back up to the point where you see in the graph, I'm back to where I was before, currently today. And it's continuing to go up, and it's just really awesome seeing that progress. And like it can be easy, when you're bummed out about your progress eventually too, you can always kind of look back and see like the historical data showing you where you are, and like, oh no, I didn't do as well relatively this time than last time, but you're like, I'm still doing pretty good though. Which is
my mind just exploded for like high level athletes and stuff. Like I've injured myself, I've had knee surgeries and stuff like that, and it's like you always have that question, am I back to where I was before? So if you had data of where you were pre-injury, and now, you come back from injury, you're going to see yourself, lower, but you see yourself work fully back up. That's huge for athletes and physical therapists. There's a lot of potential with this software.
I definitely think so. I mean, I've actually been able to use VR for my own physical therapy as well. Like sitting at a computer and stuff all day, you get into these certain, what do they call it? I guess like postures and stuff that, definitely can hurt your body over time. But like getting into VR and like doing things like the climb and being able to like, you're reaching up and down, like you're moving your shoulders in different ways. You're exercising, you're gaining mobility there. Like with Beat Saber, you're just moving your body in different ways than a lot of us do in our day-to-day lives when we're just sitting around watching TV or playing video games. We're kind of in like this hunched over, arms forward in front of you position for like a lot of our day. And like using VR to break out of that, I think is super awesome. And it is true, like with Blackbox, like having all that data, it is like encouraging to see like, hey, I'm back to where I was before. Like you see the drop off, you see the decline, but you see the build back, like the build up back to where you were like post injury or pre-injury. And it's a really cool thing to see. It's really nice to have all that data. And we actually did do a stint with the. Have you guys heard about the fan controlled football league?
No, fan controlled.
Yeah, you should look it up. It's called FCFL, Fan Controlled Football League.
Writing that down.
Sorry.
I said I'm writing that down right now.
Yeah, write it down. It's a really interesting thing. They're doing it again this year, but they stream it on Twitch, and it's like a smaller version of football in a couple different ways. Like some of the rules are slightly changed, and like I think the field's smaller and the teams are maybe slightly smaller. But they take all these athletes from various teams, and I don't exactly know all the logistics behind it, but they take it all, and then you as a fan, you sign up on their website and you vote with everyone else on what plays they do. So I guess they don't have like someone who's calling the plays or whatever, but you vote on the plays that they're doing in the game to help, I guess, with their team. And we were lucky enough to we had one of our booths over there at their, I guess, where they were playing their games, and like they were using it for their day-to-day exercises and stuff, which was really cool to see, and it was really cool getting the data from that.
I think the whole thing. I'm still kind of wrapping my head around the therapy thing, because that's the whole aspect I never even thought of.
Yeah, but no, that football league. I was even just googling it real quick. That sounds insane. That's awesome. There's so much potential in this
digital world.
Yeah, it's so much untapped stuff.
I want to jump off topic for a minute, and I love asking people, especially developers, because I know they're always burning at both ends. But what do you actually do in your own spare time? Do you actually have downtime, or are you constantly jumping onto the next thing in your downtime?
Lately it's actually I've been trying to relax. It's one of those things where it's like it definitely can be easy to fall into work for sure, and you're just always working on like, you know, whatever you think is cool at the time. So like in my downtime, if I'm not, you know, doing Blackbox stuff and I'm not working on Don't Look Digital stuff, you know, I'll be playing VR games here and there. And then I think like lately I've been trying to enjoy just like leaving the house while we can right now, I guess. Hopefully it stays this way where we can keep leaving the house. But, so I've been trying to take advantage of that. But I think in my free time, it's definitely just trying to hang out with friends and hang out with my wife, and like been watching a lot of like sci-fi and stuff lately. I've finally just started watching Westworld. I don't know why it took me so long to start watching Westworld, but we just started that, which is awesome TV. I don't know why I slept on it for so long, but it's definitely that. Yeah, it's like trying to hang out with friends, like playing board games. We always, like every weekend, we have like a board game night with our friends, and we're just hanging around, just like playing. I think we play a lot of Catan and Uno, like really simple board games, but just stuff that's just fun to play casually.
No, casual board games with friends is always one of the best. So another question that I usually actually start these interviews with developers with, and I somehow managed to evade it, just the way things goes. I usually like to ask, like, how did you get into VR? Like, what was your first VR experience? And then also, like, what are some of your favorite VR games? I know you mentioned that you game a lot.
Yeah. My first VR experience, technically, I tried out like a what was it, the DK2 at some tech conference event that I was at for some work thing back in the day. And like I hopped in, was I in like a X-Wing or something? I was in some sort of spaceship, and I was like, well, that's kind of cool. But like didn't really think about it too much, because I think back then, whatever headset I was using, it was more 3DOF, and it wasn't, you know, it was like cool. It was cool. But like I actually didn't try VR until I was working at a company, working in building various like demos in the Unity game engine. And I went off to a Unity conference that they had. So I was trying to like learn all about like all the new engine features and all of the industry, whatever. And Microsoft was there, and they gave the developers an Acer Windows mixed reality headset. And I brought that home and put it on, and it was mind blown. So this was probably like in 2018, I think, like not that long ago, that I actually fully got into VR, and playing through that and having the controllers and experiencing VR in that way, that was mind blowing to me. And I just downloaded everything I possibly could. I convinced all my friends to buy VR headsets. So we were playing like Pavlov. What's the game where you were in a submarine? Iron Wolf, I think. I don't know if you guys have played that one, but like
you're going back years then, yeah.
Yeah, Iron Wolf was awesome. That's where I think
we were part of the Quest 2 generation of
Didn't jump on it until the Quest 2 dropped.
Been watching for years, just didn't have a PC gaming computer. So
Mad Jelly for years. I'm like, I can't drop $4,000, you know.
That was definitely that was a hard piece for like some of the friends, because like some of them, their PCs like wouldn't run it very well. It kind of ruined a little bit of VR for some of them who like, and they were so glitchy with all like the Windows mixed reality stuff like back then. Like it kind of, unfortunately, it ruined VR a little bit for a few of them.
Especially like the Google glasses and like the cardboard VR stuff.
Exactly. It's like people don't like, they thought that they tried it, but like, no, you didn't really try it. No, you didn't try
it. And dude, I've had people hesitant to try a Quest 2 because they've been like, no, I tried the cardboard. And it's like, dude, I know the Quest 2 is a mobile processor, but
no, it's not even fair to compare it to the other stuff.
The Quest is probably my favorite product of all time. Like the Quest and Quest 2, I am in love with my Quest 2. I use it so often, and I try to like probably spend way too much money buying Quest games where I only play for like an hour to like experience it and then go off to the next one, where like, and that's what I'm doing now, I guess, is like I'm just like trying to download all, you know, whatever I can. You know, I use the excuse, it's research, but
that's how we ended up with this podcast.
Yep, exactly.
Now I have to own it all.
Yep,
indiscriminately too,
just to review it, you know.
Totally. Yeah, I'm having a good time with it now. But yeah, like with Quest, like lately, been playing a lot. Like Population 1, of course, great game. Playing Beat Saber.
Might have to squat up sometime.
Yeah,
totally.
We play Pop One fans.
Pop 1.
Most definitely, yeah, we definitely need to. And I need to try out the new. I haven't tried out the new
Kingdom Age update
yet. Have you guys tried it?
Yeah,
I like it actually more than season 2.
Yeah, it's
okay.
I like
Sweet.
It. I don't necessarily like going to the kingdom because it's
you're gonna die.
Everybody goes there. But I like the progression they put into this game. It's not stopping.
And the map detail in the new areas is beautiful. But I won't spoil it for you. It's a good time. Highly recommend it.
I'm gonna try to hop in later today. It's such a good game. But yeah, so I'm just playing everything right now. And then I recently, I don't know if you guys have tried, it's a PC VR game, but Lo-Fi. It's being worked on in early access right now, but I hop into that one as they make updates to it, and it's just a beautiful game. The environment, you just soaking it up, just feels so good. It's such a great experience for sure.
No, I mean, we'll wrap things up in a minute too, because I think we'll end up going 3 hours at this rate, you know. But I can imagine as a developer too, it's like there's no reason to not just do Quest focused games in terms of like
marketability,
not even just making money, just getting your game out. You know, the Quest is they led to me and him, you know, me and Stratus. It's created such a big new market of accessibility gamers.
And let's be honest, the price point.
Yeah.
For you to be able to just, and I mean, you can't buy a new generation console game. I mean, it's like $1,000. So I mean, so you can get a Quest 2 for a couple $100, $300. Boom, you're in business. I mean, that's amazing.
Yeah, as a developer, Quest is pretty much, at least for us, I think it varies depending on the developer, but I think most developers, if you're developing for virtual reality and it is a consumer-facing product that you want people to actually play, I would say most developers are developing for Quest, and that's what we're doing. Our games are developing for Quest with PC support, you know, like we'll add it in like later kind of a thing, but like Quest is definitely the main priority, making sure like our entire graphical pipeline right now for Don't Look Digital, which has changed pretty dramatically since Don't Upset Bobby, but for the new stuff that we're working on, all the whole graphical pipeline is created specifically for Quest. All of the graphical features have been like fine-tuned to work on Quest, because that's just the platform that's hot right now, and I think will be for considerable amount of time. Not to mention it's my favorite VR platform. I think going standalone, no cable, that's just how VR for me was meant to be experienced. Like the graphics and stuff, yeah, they're they're worse than a PC, but we'll get there. Like we'll get, you know.
I mean, dude, I grew up as a kid and a ball was a square. You know, the best they could do is a square, and we loved it. So, I mean, to know that the Quest is going to go nothing but better, I'm assuming more powerful engines will come down the road. Mm-hmm. Developers will be able to do more, and just the progression of things, it'll just look better and better until it just feels real, I guess.
I know, I couldn't agree more. But Jeff, I think sometime in the future we're gonna have you back on, just to, even if you don't have a new project coming, just kind of shoot the shit a little bit about VR.
Would love to. Thanks for having me on, guys.
No, I appreciate you taking time. I know one of the reasons I ask what people do when they're not doing or developing, you get a glimpse of their life is kind of stacked. Even if your downtime is with family and friends, it's like it still happens. So for you to spend an hour with us is pretty huge on our end.
Yeah, no, it's the other thing I do. I just love talking about VR too. So I'm happy to be on here to just chat about it, because I know that some of my friends and my wife are like, all right, we've heard enough.
I understand that.
Yeah. We got to always shut up at the dinner table and stuff.
Even sometimes to some of my friends.
Like, that's all you talk about, man.
Get it. Get back in the virtual or the real life. I'm not gaming all the time. I just love to talk about it.
Yeah, I think it'd be great to have Jeff on again. We don't even have not to talk about projects, just talk about VR in general.
I would love to. Yeah, hit me up sometime.
All right,
perfect. Back on again for sure.
We'll have to plan the next one. So thank you again, my friend. We'll wrap this one up now. So hey guys at home, I hope you guys enjoyed this, and stay tuned for our next one with Jeff. All right. If you enjoyed today's episode, then be sure to subscribe on your favorite podcast platform. Also, if you're feeling real generous, you can even give us a 5-star review. Don't forget as well to check out our official subreddit at www.reddit.com/r/RuffTalkVR. There you can join other fans of the podcast, get sneak peeks of next week's episode, and even talk with our host directly. Also, any sponsorship inquiries and guest requests can be sent directly to our email at rufftalkvr@gmail.com. Stay tuned for next week's episode, and have a great day.